Well, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's talk about an interesting bike from CUBE, and it's gonna be the 2022 CUBE Nuroad C62 Race bike. As you probably know, CUBE is a very famous German bike brand. They do all kinds of road bikes, gravel bikes, and mountain bikes, so definitely CUBE knows what they are doing when it comes to all kind of ranges of the bike. Also, sometimes you can see CUBE road bikes on the highest level of road cycling, for example, on the levels of Grand Tours like Tour de France, Vuelta, or the Giro. So this specific CUBE Nuroad C62 Race has a retail price of 3,099 British pounds. And when you ask the simple question, who is this bike for? This is a typical gravel road bike. So if you are in the market for like a bike where you use it majority of your time on the road, but from time to time you like to go a bit of off-roading, nothing too demanding, just some very simple gravel roads, or maybe you like to do some bike packing, then definitely you should consider CUBE Nuroad platform. Also, when you look at the paint scheme on this bike, unfortunately there is only one paint scheme on this bike. It is a beautiful one, almost like a military green with a hint of black, so it's a very decent paint scheme. You'll be easily camouflaged when you go into the forest with this bike. But again, since this bike has a 3,100 British pounds retail price, would be nice to have at least another paint scheme on this bike so the CUBE can offer it, but it is what it is. Now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. So as always, we can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So you see the frame is a carbon fiber frame from CUBE, their C62 carbon fiber frame, which has internal cable routing, flat mount disc brakes, and 12mm through axles, and also this is a press fit bottom bracket on this carbon frame. Fork, again carbon fork from CUBE, C62 carbon fork with flat mount disc brakes and of course 12mm through axles. I have to mention here that since this is a gravel bike, you will have a lot of mounting points on the frame and the fork, so you can put different kind of bags on the bike if you like to go bike packing, and also you can put different fenders and the mounts because there's lots of these mounting points on the bike. So this is always a classical thing with gravel bikes and one of the almost secret sauces of gravel bikes. Now let's talk about the braking system on the bike. So what do you get? So you are getting, in my opinion, superb Shimano's GRX 810 hydraulic disc brakes, front and the back, 160mm braking rotors, absolutely superb. They didn't cut corners here. The only thing I will mention is that when you look at the braking rotors on this bike, these are the basic Shimano's RT, for example, 64 braking rotors. So here I can easily advise you that when you destroy these braking rotors, buy yourself Shimano Ultegra braking rotors or Shimano SLX or Shimano XT braking rotors. Definitely keep the size at 160mm, so you have a very good heat dissipation and also excellent stopping power. And also if you get the, for example, Shimano Ultegra braking rotors or Shimano XT braking rotors, you will have a very good ice freezer technology on them, so it will again make it the heat dissipation much better. Now let's talk about the Groupset on this bike. So the front mech, shifters, and the rear mech, everything is Shimano GRX 810 Groupset, which is absolutely superb. So this is the Shimano's dedicated gravel Groupset, 11-speed mechanical Groupset, and this is top of the line when it comes to Shimano's gravel Groupsets. So absolutely no complaints here, and CUBE definitely didn't cut corners with this Groupset. It's a top-notch Groupset, and I'm glad that everything from shifters, front mech, and the rear mech is the Shimano's GRX 810. Top-notch here. As I said before, the bottom bracket is a press-fit bottom bracket. This is a classical Shimano standard BB71 or 86mm press-fit bottom bracket. I'm not expecting any problems with this, should work perfectly fine. Now let's look at the crankset and the cassette on this bike. So what do you get? When it comes to crankset, you are getting a Shimano's RX 810 crankset, superb stuff, 4831 chainrings, and this is paired with the Shimano's Ultegra cassette, so this is the HG 800 cassette, 1134 cassette. So 1134 cassette, 4831 chainrings, superb combination. You can spend a lot of days, climbing any mountains with this bike, and you also have a gear ratio that is less than 1:1, which is absolutely superb. When it comes to the chain, again, Shimano's HG 701 chain, Shimano Ultegra level chain, superb choice from Cube, and I'm so glad they didn't cut corners on the chain and the cassette. Everything is on the Shimano's Ultegra level, absolutely superb stuff. Now let's talk about the wheel set. So, the wheels on these bikes that you are getting are Newman Evolution SLXR25. So when you look at this wheel set, it is a classical aluminium wheel set from Newman, and some of the highlights of this wheel set, 12mm through axles front and the back, and I can say that the internal rim width should be approximately 25mm, and the 28 spokes, both the front and the back, should be SAPIM spokes, perfectly fine, and this is of course a specifically dedicated wheel set for disc brakes. And one thing that's surprising for me, it seems like this wheel set could be around 1,500-1,600 grams, according to some technical specifications that I found online, which would be very, it would be absolutely excellent if it's about 1,600 grams for an aluminium wheel set, because usually classical aluminium wheel sets can be easily 1,800 to 2,000 grams. Also, the hubs on this wheel set, I would expect some classical seal cartridge bearings, classical aluminium hubs. It says that it's some kind of Newman on hubs. I don't have, much experience with these hubs, but again, I would expect it to work perfectly fine as it is on this bike. And it's always easy in the future if you really want to upgrade this wheel set to something, for example, from DT Swiss or Bontrager or Zip. There's so many good wheels out there. Okay, so tires on this wheel set are Schwalbe G1 Kevlar tire, 40mm tire. Excellent choice when it comes to tires. I will just mention here that I'm glad that Cube has included a 40mm tire, a lot of air volume and a really smooth ride, and you can fit up to 45mm tires on this bike. So if you are really going some serious gravel riding and off-roading, then definitely you should consider 45mm tires. Now let's look at some of the smaller pieces on the bike, like the handlebar and the stem. So the handlebar is the Easton EC70 gravel handlebar, and this is a carbon fiber handlebar, and this is paired with the Cube's performance stem, which is, I'm expecting, aluminum stem. I'm so glad and surprised that Cube has included this superb Easton carbon fiber handlebar, top notch, and also I'm glad that both handlebar and the stem are separate pieces. They are not proprietary, super easy to adjust your position on the bike, super easy to replace anything. This is top notch, but specifically I'm surprised with this carbon fiber handlebar from Easton. Absolutely top notch here for Cube bikes. When it comes to seat post, again, Cube is using Newman Advanced Carbon Fiber Seat Post, 27.2mm, which is excellent. It's going to soak up so much of the smaller road bumps, and the saddle here is the Cube's own natural fit saddle. I'm not expecting anything special from this saddle. Saddles are a personal preference, and you should definitely replace it if you just don't like it. It's going to be super easy, nothing special with replacing a saddle. Also, I have to mention here that Cube is claiming the total weight of this bike is 8.7 kilograms. I'm expecting this to be in some kind of size 56, which is a very good bike weight. If you add the pedals on this bike, you can round it up to about 9 kilograms. Again, I think it's very good for a classical gravel bike where the retail price is 3,100 British pounds. So, all in all, when we consider this Cube bike, what would be my advice to you? When the retail price is 3,100 British pounds, should you just go ahead and buy this bike, or should you just consider it? Well, in my opinion, there's only one thing you need to be kind of aware of, and this is the Cube's warranty on their carbon frames and forks, which is still 3 years, as far as I know, unless they change something. So this is one of the lowest warranties in the industry. Everybody else does 5-6 years, or majority of the brands are doing a lifetime warranty, like Giant, Merida, Specialized, Trek. There's so many of them. So I wish that Cube has moved or will move to a 5 or 6 years warranty. As it is now, just be aware that if this is something that bothers you, that the warranty on this carbon frame and fork is 3 years, then definitely you should just consider it. But if this doesn't bother you, I can definitely recommend you to just go ahead and buy this CUBE Nuroad C62 Race gravel bike, because it's a very good offering from CUBE, a very competitive price, excellent components on the bike, and definitely I have no special complaints about this bike when you consider the retail price of 3,100 British pounds. Also, just double check, CUBE is mentioning that sometimes they might, because of the constraints of the supply chain currently, they might change some components on the bike. So make sure that you lock in your components with your CUBE bike dealer, that it is exactly what is given on the CUBE's website for the 3,100 British pounds price. If they want to change some components to the lower level, then of course they have to give you a discount. So, I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!